The Republican campaign to censor what American school children are taught about our country's history of enslavement, white supremacy, and racism has not slowed down one bit, like at all. Instead, it appears to be picking up steam. Florida could ban lessons about discrimination that make white students feel discomfort. Florida state lawmakers advanced a bill this week to bar both schools and private businesses from teachings or training that could make anyone feel responsible for historic discrimination. But some lawmakers warn that this bill is dangerous for both private companies and for schools.
Should parents have a voice? Yes, parents should know what their children are being taught. But at the same time, you cannot distort history. We cannot turn from the facts of the things that happen. All this legislation is going to do is promote ignorance of race-related content and other content that children should know about and what children should have access to. Yes, we were not born then. Yes, you weren't a part of what happened then, but that does not preclude us from being able to sit and have the tough conversations of what happened.
Yeah, we in here, 'cause we been here. We in here. Yeah, we in here, 'cause we been here. We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause we been here. Rid of us now. We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause we came here. Rid of us now. We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause we came here. Rid of us now. And you know that we won't ever go, so you do what you want. We been here for life. That's it.
Oh man, it's Monday, and y'all know what that means. It's Black versus the Board of Education live on your screens, and we are ready to get the party started. But before we do, we want to let you know that we are talking about New Year, same shenanigans. That means we're going to be going over a few stories that we've seen last week, and we're going to give you guys our opinions on them. So as we are waiting for our guest co-host to finally get connected, why don't we go around the room and get some introductions? Miss Jada, let me start with you.
Hey y'all, I'm back. Hi guys, so good to be here. My name is Jada. I am a homeschool junior in the Sacramento area, and glad to have y'all back.
Wonderful. Thank you for coming back, Mr. Hunley. I see your hands are in the air. You about to set the party off, right? Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Wow, my surname. I'm
Boy,
surprised.
Boy, come on.
My name is Samuel. I'm in 5th grade. I'm homeschooled and I'm 11. That's really it.
Okay, perfect. Well, welcome back, Miss Melissa. Go ahead. Why don't you and Kane introduce yourselves?
Hi, everyone. My name is Melissa, and I'm a 15-year-old sophomore in the Southern California area.
Hi, my name is Kane. I am in 3rd grade, and I'm 8 years old.
Okay, perfect. Well, welcome to the party. So you guys know we're going to be talking about some stories, and we could not just let the intro story go by us. So Florida is trying to pass a law to shield whites from discomfort of racist past. Do they need a law for that, or are they wasting time? Like, what do y'all think? Come on, Sammy.
It's just like, this makes no sense. It's basically the same thing that Condoleezza Rice said. We don't want to make white kids feel bad. They need to learn this, because if they don't, they'll probably end up repeating the same cycle. It doesn't matter if they feel uncomfortable. It doesn't matter if they feel bad. I don't care. I honestly don't care.
Melissa?
You can take this information. That's basically it.
The problem is that white people have been comfortable. That is the entire issue that we're having. The whole reason we have this podcast is because white people are comfortable and keep repeating the same mistakes that have been made in history that have become a burden on us as Black people. It isn't fair that they have a law and a rule that will make them comfortable when us as Black students and as Black people are uncomfortable every single day.
Jada.
It's it's kind of funny to me how they can make all these laws for other people. For the Asian people, they had a law that protected them when there was to stop Asian hate. And then for white people, now they're trying to make a law to not learn about their history. But it just seems like nobody cares for Black people. They have all these laws. They feel free to make all these laws and all these rules. But when it comes to us and our complaints and we're trying to help, like, find resolutions for us, like, we're waiting for you guys to take Black people seriously and care for us. It seems like we're just like, we're not even in the back of their mind. They're gonna have no care for us. It's just crazy how they have all these time to make laws, but when we bring the fact up, when we need laws for us set in priority for us, it just seems like it doesn't matter. It's weird to me.
Well, I mean, it just seems like it's par for the course. So if you look at the history of this country, they have always made laws to protect everyone else, right? And so when we're thinking about the Civil Rights Act, and those were specific protections that were supposed to be put in place to kind of help Blacks, it's like to equal things out, separate but equal, right? And then you notice, and if you were listening to the book that we just had, we went over last week, he was saying that, yeah, they put the laws on the books, but they did little to enforce them. And so when you guys see things like this, and they're specifically talking about history, when you see this, what message is that sending to you? I promise you it's not a trick question.
Just how little they care for us, how little we're protected in this country. And I see that day to day. Like, even in schools, teachers don't care about Black students. We've talked about that many times before. You see on these streets, police officers don't care to protect us. They see the color of our skin and they immediately think threat. Like, this country, and it's historical, has no respect for us, no protection for us. It was never made for us. It was made against us. And so that's why the law of trying not to learn their history is because they're trying to hide from the truth. They're trying to hide from the fact that, yes, this stuff is historical and it's been carried on throughout generations and generations, but let's not learn about it because it makes us very uncomfortable. So can we not speak about it, please? Like, absolutely not.
Melissa?
I think the message is basically almost forget about slavery. We hear that a lot, forget about all these things that have happened that are impacting you today. They want us to forget about it. And so if we forget about it, they won't have to teach it because we don't know what happened and we won't understand why or what is impacting us today. So they don't care.
Yeah, and I just want to share my screen. You guys, go ahead, Kane.
Also, when I felt so when we were at a protest, I felt scared when the police walked by because they kill Black people. So I was a little scared. So and
do you think
also,
that you think that you should be scared though? Is there a reason? Do you think you should be scared? Because I hear that you were scared, but do you think there's a reason you should be scared? And I'm sorry, this ad is all on my paper or this thing, and it's driving me crazy, but I can't figure. Okay, let's see. All right, cool. But do you think you should be scared, or do you think that you're just fearful for no reason?
Well, I was scared because I see it and
what do you see? Kane, what do you see? Okay.
Happened to George Floyd.
Okay.
And yeah, that's it.
Okay. Well, I thank you for sharing your opinion, because I think that that's a real thing, right? When you see things that are constantly happening and then you go to try to live normal life, it's always in the back of your mind that something may happen to you, right? And so in talking about this bill, it said this bill's not for Blacks, this bill was not for any other race. This bill's not for Blacks. This bill is not for any other race. This was I don't know if they wrote this right. This was directed to make whites not feel bad about what happened years ago, said State Senator Shervin Jones, who is Black. At no point did anyone say white people should be held responsible for what happened. But what I would ask my white counterparts is, are you an enabler of what happened? Or are you going to say we must talk about history? And I think that, life is difficult enough without adding things to it, right? The fact that they know that there's so much pushback because they do want to eliminate things out of history, to save their egos. I mean, I think it's just same old stuff, different year. So let's go to the next story. I want you guys to take a look at this, and we will talk about it.
And less than a half a mile down the road at John Rolfe Middle School, a student was taken to the hospital after her hair was set on fire. Crime Insider John Burkett spoke to the student's mother tonight, who says she just wants answers. A warning, some of the images you're about to see are very graphic. John?
Candace, she tells me her son was in math class, but how her son ended up with second and third degree burns to his head isn't adding up.
When I came into the school, they had the fire out, so that was good, but the burns were still there, so we had to rush him to the emergency room, so that's where we are.
Angry and upset, a Henrico mom says she wants swift accountability and punishment for a student who did this to her son's head.
And that's what they reached out to me to let me know, that a student had burned his hair.
The 8th grader was in math class at John Rolfe Middle School Wednesday afternoon. Police say a lighter was used. Crime Insider sources tell me a female student flicked the lighter and the 13-year-old boy's hair quickly caught fire.
Why did she have a lighter to begin with? And I'm guessing because we don't do detections when they walk through the door. I guess that's in Henrico County schools. They don't do detections, so they wouldn't be able to find that anyway. So I'm just hoping that this doesn't happen to anyone else.
Second and third degree burns on the side of her son's head and ear. Mom adds the humiliation factor and pain of the burns will take time to heal, and she doesn't know what led up to this. She encourages parents to speak with their children, saying actions have consequences and burning another student isn't going to miraculously go away.
You can't just do that and be like, oops, I did that, and then keep on moving. It doesn't work like that.
Okay. So I'm gonna let y'all talk first, and then I will give my opinion of this. And Kane, I see your hand up.
Okay, so first of all, why did they have a lighter anyways?
Good question.
Why did a student have a lighter? And where the heck were the teachers, the administration, when this is happening?
I just
Like, it'd be one thing if it was science class. She was like, oh my God, but what are you doing with the lighter in math class? What are you?
First of all, I want to clear some things up because I don't think you guys got the accurate story. So let me share the article, and then let's go through it, because first of all, I don't know who did the reporting, who wrote the story, but they initially said that it was a young girl, and it is a boy. It says a Virginia teen is facing charges after allegedly setting her classmate's hair on fire. Allegedly, right? You see it? Okay. Allegedly. The 13-year-old was taken to the hospital with burns, and her mother, but it's clearly a boy, her mother says he is now mentally broken. Duh. You think so? You think? Okay. The incident took place January 12th at Richmond's John Rolfe Middle School during class, according to NBC 12. It has been alleged that the girl put the other student's hair on fire, causing him to have second and third degree burns. The mother, who decided not to be identified, yet she was on this news story, to protect her son's privacy, was told that about the incident after a school official called her on her child's phone to report the incident problem. The mother told WWBT, all I could hear the teacher say over the phone was, something is happening with my son. She was told that a school resource officer was taking care of the boy until medical professionals arrived to take over. The police and the Henrico Fire Department came to the school at 12:30 p.m. and said that the student's burn injuries were not life-threatening. According to the mother, the son's math class was at lunch when he went to dispose of his lunch tray when a female classmate followed him and pulled out a lighter. That's when the girl kind of flicked the lighter and lit his hair on fire, the mother told the news station. The mother said that when she got to the school, she saw that her son's shoulder-length hair was now burned to the scalp. The student had burns from the side of his head and covering one of his ears. She also noted that areas of his neck were scarred and blistered with burns. He was hysterical. He looked scared, said his mother. His pride emotionally and mentally broken. The mom alleges initially the school didn't want to press criminal charges against the student. However, she was adamant about receiving a measure of justice for her child. What if this was your child? What would you be? Would you be livid? Would you be devastated? How would you feel? Would you feel supported by Henrico County Schools, she said. On January 12th, the Henrico Fire Marshal's office has charged the girl with unlawful wounding. Debbie George, the school's principal, gave a statement to the parents about the incident. This is Miss George, principal of John Rolfe Middle School. I am calling to let you know about an incident that took place in your child's science class. Nobody gets the details right. Just, okay. A student was burned by a classmate who was playing with a lighter. The injured student was taken to the hospital and is receiving treatment. Here at school, we are reviewing the incident to ensure something like this does not happen again and taking appropriate disciplinary action as necessary. Thank you. Sam.
This is ridiculous. First off, nobody can get the details right. The statement, no, all these stories don't match up. They're telling the same story, but they're not matching up with the times, where it was. It's just all around. They're just like changing the story slightly. Oh, science class. Oh, math class during lunchtime. It's confusing. I don't know which one, but honestly, I feel like the student should have gotten more than just the student that burned him. She should have gotten more than just unlawful wounding. She should have gotten like assault or attempted murder. That is a fire to the skull. Like that's not just, oh, you can just put it out. That's no. That can literally.
Melissa?
There's so many holes in this story. Like you said, nothing lines up with anything that's being said. At first they were saying it was in class, then they said at lunch when he was taking his tray to wherever. Like nothing lines up. If it was a white student, they would make sure that all the facts were there so everyone could feel sorry for them. If it happened to a white student by a black student, they absolutely would have made sure that all the facts were there and straightened out and in line so everyone could feel sorry for that white student. But because it is a black student and a black boy, they don't really care who's getting it wrong. They said it was a girl, then they said it was a boy, then they said her mother. Nothing is lined up because it is a black student, and they do not care that this, like Sam said, this is an injury to the head, which is your skull. Like this will be life-changing and will affect him for the rest of his life. And because it is a black student, no one cares about getting the facts right because why they don't have to care. It's not a student that looks like them.
Yeah. And then I just have to go back because the mom said that the school didn't want to press charges. Is that optional? Is it optional to press charges against somebody who does this type of damage? Like I'm livid right now. Why was there an option? I've seen black students be put up for expulsion for getting jumped. This kid gets his hair set on fire, and they're saying we don't know. We don't want to press charges. What kind of foolishness is this? And let me be clear, if I was the advocate for this child and his mother, I wouldn't have had her go on the camera. And I'm going to tell you why. She's too damn calm. She's too calm about the injury that her child suffered. They are so used to us going in, being calm, trying to work within the system, trying to just let people just do whatever they're doing so that we are not looked at as the angry Black women. This is absolutely egregious behavior. And I think that the adults that allowed this to take place, they should be brought up on charges. Jada?
It's just crazy to me because the description of how she was like, oh, the shoulder length hair. Now I'm looking at it and I'm like, it was like here, and now it just blows my mind how they let something like this just let it go, or given an option where, well, I know your son got his hair kind of burnt to the scalp, but like, we don't know if we're gonna press charges or not.
And the fire department pressed the charges. You noticed that, right? It wasn't criminal. The fire department had to press the charges.
Because even they know this is crazy. Like, you really gonna let this slide? No, go ahead and press them charges, because it doesn't make sense. Because if this happened to any other kid who wasn't Black, and I'm telling you, it would have been handled a little different, a lot different actually. This wouldn't have slid.
Yeah, Anaya.
I completely agree with Jada. If it was any other kid, especially if it was a white kid, I don't even think this would have happened. Like like if a white kid's hair got set on fire, I don't even think it would have gone this far to make it be like, well, we don't know what happened. This is what happened, but this is also what happened. No, they would have had the facts straight. They would have known all the details, and charges probably would have been pressed before the kid left school. Like, yeah.
What I see is a common factor. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Oh, what I see as a common factor is that whenever something happens to a Black kid, it's always under investigation. Why is it always under investigation for us? Like, there's no clear answer. Like, this is an obvious answer, but it's always under investigation, and it's so dumb to me.
Well, what I will say is you got a lot of idiots that's in there playing Perry Mason, or that they on SVU or something. They don't have common sense, let alone deductive reasoning. And you're putting these people in positions to make determinations about someone else's future and their children and that of their children. Look, this type of stuff boils my blood, because I'm looking at this child, and statistics say that they believe that Black children don't experience pain on the level of other children. They think that you guys are older than you actually are. They think that you guys can tolerate more than you actually can. And that's why you have adults like me in the community that's like, nah, we about to flip over some doggone tables, because this is just, I just can't. And mom was like, well, why don't they have metal detectors? Lighters are not metal. So even if they had metal detectors, I don't know if they would be, depending on what the type of lighter this was, and they're not very clear on the details. I'm not sure that those would be picked up. I'm just not sure. But I'm just absolutely just livid that, one, this baby is going to have this scar him for the rest of his life, that nobody took it seriously, that they were just on the fence of whether they were going to press charges or not. Yet he is walking around with scars that will probably last him his whole lifetime. And I cannot. I just cannot.
And not only should she have charges pressed against her, but there should be some type of disciplinary action for carrying a lighter onto a school campus. Like, you can't carry knives, you can't carry none of that. So the fact that a lighter made it past the gates of the school, I can't even make it past the gates of my school with my phone, but she made it with a lighter. Like, what?
Come on, Jada, talk to him.
Not only do charges need to be pressed on that student and their family, but also the people who handled this situation incorrectly. I want to talk about the
mishandled.
Yes, because didn't the article say somewhere that the resource officer or someone used the child's phone to contact?
Yeah, it said that. Yeah.
I want to talk about that, because why? What happened to your front office phones that you will be quick if something happens to a Black student, or a Black student starts a fight or is even involved in a fight? You will be quick to go to the front office and get on that phone and call everybody. But when a Black child is in danger, then you want to go onto the child's phone and call the mother? That doesn't make any sense.
Look, a lot of this that is going on right now, none of it makes sense. None of it can be justified. How do you justify this child being wounded in this way and you didn't do anything because you didn't want to, you was worried about the other girl? The fact that they didn't say much about the other girl tells me everything that I need to know. They were ready to protect her. She's either related to somebody in the front office, her mom and dad are friends with somebody from the office, or maybe they contribute to the school or the foundation or whatever, and or she's white. That's the only thing, deductive reasoning, that's the only thing I could come up with, because I see Black students criminalized consistently for minor infractions. And this one, where he was wounded in this way, and you think you got a choice? Hell no. I'm gonna calm down, but that's some foolishness. All right, that was only story 1, and I'm already heated. Let's go to story 2.
Student in the South Sound, a victim of racial slurs. And this incident was caught on camera at a basketball game in Olympia, and it already has thousands of views.
Tonight, his father is speaking out, telling Fox 13 reporter Frankie Thompson that he will not be silent about the offensive behavior.
The father says he comforts his son by having open conversations about the offensive racist language in that video. The superintendent here at Olympia School District says there is no tolerance for this kind of behavior, but the father says, unfortunately, this kind of thing happens often on game day.
I needed to move forward and set the example that, we're not going to tolerate this.
Kai Steplight says racism should have no place in his community, definitely not at a high school basketball game, but says that's exactly what was spewed at his 16-year-old son. A student of Capitol High School in Olympia recorded this video during a game at the school on January 17th, calling Steplight's son derogatory names as he dribbled the ball down the court.
But then it got more derogatory when they started calling him a gorilla. And then you can hear the student section start to make the gorilla sounds, and then you can see some of them do the hand gestures.
The Capitol High School student posted the video that evening and even tagged Steplight's son. He says he found out about the video from someone sending it to him, which by that time it was already circulating on social media. Steplight says he immediately turned his attention to his child.
He thought they were just taunting, and I said, well, no, there's a difference between taunting and then when they start talking about how you look, and then specifically saying keywords that have been referenced, as far as how to describe Black people when you want to be derogatory.
Though Steplight's 4 children are not enrolled in the Olympia School District, his kids have competed against several of the district's teams. He says this isn't the first time he's witnessed this behavior from OSD students and parents on game day.
I kind of described it as a bubble. I felt like there's a lot of anger and resentment, and there's a lot of issues here dealing with race and discrimination. And I think with the video bursted the bubble. And because it's proof, it's not just people complaining or saying this is what's going on. It's like we can pull it up and we can see it.
Superintendent Patrick Murphy says he's aware hurtful acts like this have happened before. He says when something of this nature happens in a school district or organization, we sometimes hear responsive statements that the act is not who we are, or that it is not a reflection of what we stand for. I do not subscribe to those viewpoints. This incident and others like those reported are committed by those of us in this community. We are the community.
Samuel?
See, it just shows that the superintendent is always gonna lie to try to save his reputation. Because he said this has never happened before. This is a one-time occurrence, which is always said when there is racial discrimination against a Black person that is recorded, not just not recorded, but recorded. But the father's like, oh, this happens all the time. Whenever we play them, oh yeah, this happens all the time. Our players get harassed all the time because they're Black. So that just shows that he doesn't really care about the problem. He just cares about the reputation or what people think. Because if people don't dig too deep into it, they'll be like, oh, this is a first-time offense. They can fix this. No, this is not just a first-time offense. this is something that is reoccurring that you're not stopping at all. You're not taking any action for it. But the second that it goes viral and everybody knows, oh, this is not who we are. No, just stop lying.
Anaya.
I completely agree with everything Sam said. It's like the principal or the superintendent, whoever sent out that statement saying, this is not who we are, this is not what we stand for. It's just at that point, it cover your tracks. And even if the dad is saying, like, I've heard this many times from this school in this school district, then how many times has that excuse been used? Like, that sorry excuse been used. Exactly. And also, I'm wondering if the kid who the video got sent to him, the kid who received the video, who they were making fun of him on the court, who's dribbling the basketball down, if they have a social media, I'm wondering, has this happened before in the past? Like, how have they harassed him, if they have harassed him? Like, I'm pretty sure, obviously this is not the first time, but I'm wondering what else have they done to him if they have a social media and they sent him personally the video.
Yeah. Jada?
I'm just going to say this is white privilege at its finest. They don't want to teach history or in their critical race theory because they don't want to make white people uncomfortable, but they can let this slide. It's just, you don't want to make white people uncomfortable, but it's okay if they can shout racial slurs at us on the basketball court. Like, that's appropriate. Talking about, oh, it's never happened. This isn't who we are. Obviously it has happened because they felt like they really could in a public space too. In a public space. Like, it's crazy to me.
Millie?
I've been to basketball games and football games, and it's natural to want to talk down on the other team, but it stops at some point. There is some point when, even if it's one person, everybody's going to look at that one person and be like, you cannot say that. So it's obviously happened before. And I want to go back to what Sam said, talking about how the dad even said this has happened before, but it never got this bad. The fact that you let your child stay on the team and did not take any further action, something else needed to be done if this has happened before.
Yeah.
And also, words like that, they have been used to talk about slaves, and I just think that's not okay, like, at all.
You know, and the thing that really ticks me off, I hate boilerplate language. Every time one of these incidents happen, it's always, this is not who we are. No, boo. This is exactly who you are. Exactly who you are. And the fact that we have parents, who allow their children to be subjected to this type of treatment. Take your kids out of the sport. Take them somewhere where they will be loved and adored for their talents, not where people will use them. And then after the doggone season is over, discard them like they are trash. I am so sick of them lording this over our children's heads as if they just have to put up with this treatment because this is part of playing on sports teams. Our children are the only ones who have to deal with this foolishness. And I'm going to say it that way. And I know that there may be people of other ethnicities that have some sort of something happen to them, but this egregiousness, this whole monkey business, at some point, this needs to be categorized as hate crimes because you got adults in the stands doing it as well as their old funky children. And somebody has to say that. They're getting it from somewhere. When did we start ejecting people out of the stadium or out of the games who do this? What are they really going to do? Or are we going to keep talking about it and you keep telling me this is not who you are? It's ridiculous. I just don't understand. I just don't understand. And then when you have things like this happen, or other things like this happen in the community, and you go to, the school board meeting and you get on public comment, and then, you say everything you need to say and you think people are listening, and then you get notices like this. where they lost all the public comment. Everything taking them to task for their inadequacies and their failures and their ineptness. When do we start holding these people accountable? Because we can do our part. We can show up to these meetings, but we're not in charge. At least not yet. So what do we do? How do we hold them accountable? What do you guys think? How do you hold them accountable? Samuel, you got your hand up? Anaya, somebody speak to me. How do you hold people accountable when they have the authority to just wipe out public comment so nobody can hear just how incompetent they are?
So basically, you would have to have your own type of recording system so that you can also capture and have that in your computer personally so that they can't just delete it and then it's all gone. You have to maybe screen record the whole meeting so that they don't try to slide it under the table. If they were getting completely blasted, they can just slide it under the table and say, "Oh, we lost the recordings. We lost recordings. So I don't know what we're supposed to do. I'm sorry."
And I want to know what their punishment is for losing recordings, since it was a public meeting and that was the only venue that we could voice our opinions was on Zoom. So what is their punishment for losing the recording? This is just ridiculous. Come on, Jada. I saw you come off mute.
And it's dumb how we'd have to even take those steps, like screen recording the entire meeting to hold them accountable for their incompetence. Like, that's a lot of work. Like, we should be putting in the work, but we shouldn't have to, because you guys should be doing what you're supposed to do. Like, it's dumb.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing that Jada said. Like, we shouldn't even have to take these extra steps because we're given these spaces and they tell us that these are our safe spaces and we can come and say what we need to say to try and get things changed. But then you lose all of our footage when we're telling you what we need. That doesn't make any sense. So we're going to have to start screen recording our meetings and, doing what we need to do to be able to get our voices heard, even though these are supposed to be spaces where we're allowed to talk.
My thing is, okay, so you lose our footage. So what does that mean? You didn't hear our complaints. You didn't hear our wants. You didn't hear our needs. It's kind of like it's an excuse for them to lose those. Well, we didn't hear. We lost the thing. So, we can't really fix whatever problem you said because we kind of lost the footage. My bad. Like, it's okay. I wrote it down for you. Here you go. I'll email them to you.
And somebody needs to be fired, because whose job was that to record the meeting and then post it to wherever it needs to be posted? Someone needs to be fired, because how did you lose exactly 110 minutes? You know the exact
110.
You know the exact point of the footage you lost. You need to be fired.
And this is the thing, and I want you guys to understand something. So this is the 4th year that I've been coming in front of Elk Grove Unified. They know very well what the problems are. They know that they've been inadequate in solving those problems. They've been inactive. And really what they got taken to task about is their inactivity. And also, I know that I sent an email over to the president, who is now the president of the board. She sent me to the superintendent and basically explained me or described me as an angry Black woman. She's never had a conversation with me. And so I let her know during that meeting that I sent the email to you. Do not send me to Chris, your superintendent. If I wanted to talk to him, I would text him or email him or call him. I don't want to talk to him. I want to talk to you. And if you are who you say you are and you are concerned about students in this district, then you'll meet with me. Now that got lost. I wonder why. Come on, Sam. What you saying?
So I want to say how the First Amendment right of speech. Oh, you wanna pull that card for white people when they're saying all types of racist stuff, but when Black people just try to say basic things like I want equality. Oh, and then they reveal your dark secrets that you've had all these racial issues, but you don't want to address them. Instantly we're suppressed. Instantly, oh, somehow all this footage is gone. No, it's purposely deleted and suppressed so that that message doesn't get out.
Right? Like white people will preach freedom of speech and I can say whatever I want to you if it's something racist towards us. But the minute we want to even talk about what we need, then suddenly we aren't allowed to talk and our footage gets deleted. Like, what happened to freedom of speech? Didn't you just say that yesterday? That you can call me whatever because you have freedom of speech. But when I want to tell you what I need, I suddenly can't talk anymore.
They always use that. They're like, oh, I don't know why you're punishing me. I just freedom of speech. This country made it allowed for me to have freedom of speech. But we can be shot at during Black Lives Matter protests and all these other things. It's crazy. Wow, okay.
And this is a free country. They love to say this is a free country, but we have this entire podcast.
No, their excuse is you're not slaves anymore, so technically you're free. Okay.
Are you sure about that?
Okay.
Right.
To touch on the footage being lost, I honestly think they're deleting it to make us go crazy, to make us look crazy. Because if we say no, I said this and that, they look, oh, in the footage you didn't say it. No, you didn't say it. It's not here. We don't have it. Gaslighting us to think, what am I doing wrong? When in reality, you're not doing anything wrong. It's just them and their problems.
Or
and they said it was lost due to technical reasons. They were technically embarrassed. That's what it was. Technically embarrassed. Go ahead, Millie.
I want to add on to what Anaya said, or they could be doing it to discourage us from coming back and talking about what we need to.
Nope, we'll be back.
Right, we'll be there, but there are people who would get discouraged by that and wouldn't want to come back because, oh, the footage was lost. Everything I said there is lost. That means it means nothing. So they wouldn't want to go back. But that's why we need so many more students and people who are inside of these situations and see it from the outside and see it from all perspectives and come and bring and speak our minds, because this is what they're trying to do, make us not come back into these places where change needs to happen.
And if we
what I want y'all to do is get ready for the next board meeting and you call in too. That's what I need. I need y'all to find your friends, because y'all know what's going on in these schools, and have them call in too. Come on, Jada, what were you saying?
And I said, if we need to start emailing our complaints and our needs and our wants that we were going to discuss in the school board meeting, then we can do that so that we can make sure, oh, we lost the footage. It's okay. I sent that email. You have the email, right? Oh, you deleted it? It's okay. I saved the copy. I got one just for you.
Yeah. And there's some people who write their stuff down. So I believe there were some folks who kept their emails and they did send them over. And I think something's going to be done with those. But I'm one of those freestylers. You know, I just like what I'm talking about. I'm listening to somebody else, make sure I don't cover what they cover, because you only get 3 minutes. So there's no reason to repeat what's already been said.
Sometimes that is true, but I feel like sometimes they cut us off, like on purpose. They'll be like, oh, 3 minutes is up. Sorry, no more saying.
No, but this is the thing too. Listen, I was the first one to submit my public comment that I wanted to talk. How do I know I was the first one? Because I told them the link was broken. Because I told them the link was broken, they fixed the link and sent me the link. I was the first person to send in that I wanted to talk. They did not call me, and I don't think they were going to call me until I texted the superintendent, emailed the freaking person over communications, and one of the board members and attached her email that said, "Oh, your comment came through last night." So why are you not calling me? Come on now. Come on. It's part of the game. Just know it's a sprint. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. I'm built for this, and I'll be back next time. But we got a couple more things. You want to say something, Kane? I'm gonna go to you real quick, and then we got one more story, or maybe two more. Come on.
Okay, I just want to say they wanted to lose it. No, they lost it because they wanted to lose it.
Come on, Kane. Tell them again. Say that again. Say it again.
They lost it because they wanted to lose it.
Come on now. You are absolutely right.
And if it happens again, there should be some type of punishment, because once is oh, my bad. Okay, let it happen again. Then we really finna ride y'all, because twice is too much. Don't even let it get to 3. This isn't baseball. This isn't football.
And you know, they got money to get new technology. They have the money. If you need to upgrade your technology, go to Best Buy. Right there.
And they got a bunch of money because they got them COVID funds that they don't want to put black supports for black students, even though they're number 1 in the state for disproportionate discipline. But we're not going to even get on that. We just go woo saw. All right, I got one more kind of I don't want to call it negative, but it ain't the happy stuff. We'll end on a happy note, but I got one more story for y'all that needs some attention. Here you go.
Can one person really solve the race problem at school? CBS 13 Shantae Passmore live from Sac City Unified's headquarters trying to get answers. Shantae?
Well, that's the question. Attorney Mark T. Harris will oversee 2 internal investigations involving racism at the district. His mission to bring transparency and accountability. And for one West Campus administrator involved in one of those cases, she's hoping to see that.
A cloud of scrutiny hovers over Sac City Unified School District. In 2021, the district received a deafening outcry over its handling of racism. Last summer, CBS 13 received a recording of a Kit Carson International Academy teacher using the N and F words in class. A few months later, Dr. Elise Verscher says her family became targets of racist and violent threats. Since going on medical leave, she tells me it hasn't ended.
Students at West Campus are still posting things about me and my family on social media.
She sent a screen grab of someone posting her family's picture online with a monkey holding a banana. Months after the harassment began, she wants to know what's being done. Mark T. Harris is the district's first race and equity liaison. He tells me he plans to instill transparency and confidence into the 2 high-profile cases.
And then encouraging the district to take the necessary disciplinary steps once it is determined who's responsible, both at Kit Carson and at West Campus.
But community leaders say the appointment doesn't go far enough.
We're putting a Band-Aid on cancer.
Activist Barry Axius says the original demands included students be punished in the West Campus case. They also asked for more training, hiring of more Black educators, and support for Black student unions. The district tells me it already implemented mandatory anti-racism training, and it's working to improve the culture at schools. Meanwhile, Dr. Verscher isn't sure if she'll return to the school.
I think after experiencing this, I don't know if I have the capacity. I don't know.
And Harris tells me he understands people want to see accountability, but there are several investigations underway as we speak, including a criminal one at the West Campus involving that case. We're learning the first witness from there has been interviewed just December 31st. So his message tonight, be patient.
Be patient. Just be patient. And Barry was supposed to join us on the show today, and he is having problems connecting to us. But if you saw his comment, he said they can't lock him out forever. Kane, you got your hand up. What is it?
I just, for clarification, did this happen to another student or to a teacher?
So the incident, one of the incidents that is under investigation, it happened in the classroom with students. Where she wrote the N-word on the board, and she said that it's not a big deal because it's okay now to say that word. The other one, the students targeted this particular administrator, and the students also came out during the press conference said that this is not the only incident going on campus, and that they needed certain supports to be put in place. Additionally, what I will say about that press conference. The principal who had been kind of letting these complaints go and really siding with the parents over the VPs. What did I tell you the VP's responsibilities were?
Disciplinary action.
Okay. So the VPs are responsible for discipline. And so she would make a decision and this principal would come behind her and overturn it, putting her in a bad position. Okay. So that's what we're talking about. And they go after months of investigation. I believe this Kit Carson incident happened in the summer. This other one happened sometime in September. Now it's December, and now they're hiring someone to come on in and just make it all right. What say you? Come on, Tammy.
Bro, I just think they're just trying to cover themselves. Like, one person isn't going to fix everything. One person. Like, not even Martin Luther King could fix everything. He's just one man, and that's their scapegoat. Oh, we have a person that can do that is changing our culture.
No, we have a black person.
But
they always use
one black person isn't going to change the whole culture, because you need a serious culture change and a complete washing of everything in that school district to actually change the culture, as well as the case with the administrator. The point of that, what the students were doing, was to try to break her, to try to beat her down, make her feel bad, attack her family, and it seemed like it worked, because she's not gonna come back to school. She's just fully sad, just mad, angry, and then just sad. Because she's getting attacked by students she doesn't even know. Probably students she doesn't even know, just because of the color of her skin.
And I see Kane had his hand up, and then Jada will come to you. Kane, what did you want to say?
The girl who said it's okay to say the N-word.
The teacher?
Yeah, she was wrong, because it's not.
It never has been, and it never will be okay for you to say it, because people do not understand the history behind that word. And I feel like we need to do a podcast episode on that or something, because it constantly gets said by all these people. And then when we react to it and say, you cannot say this, then we get backlash on that for trying to protect this and trying to educate people on the history behind it and why it is a derogatory word, why it is a slur, and why it's not okay for people to say it. So that was a good point, Kane.
Jada?
I feel like they put her in the school to be the face of diversity and acceptance.
Come on, Jada!
Accept her, and I feel like they're letting these things pass so that she would leave. So it's like, well, we didn't fire her; she wanted to leave. Like, we didn't kick her out; she chose to leave. So technically, we're not the bad guy here. Like, we accepted her and she left. I don't know what's happening. Okay,
Anaya?
Yeah, I don't think, like, yes, one person can make a change, but it's not up to one person at the end of the day to try to change everything. And it really makes me upset when, like, these Black educators who are for Black students and Black people in general, they leave the district, and it's always like, well, if you feel uncomfortable, leave, then nothing's getting better. Nothing is changing. If I stay here and try to make a change, maybe it'll be better for me and future generations. But it's just like, for her to not want to come back to school, and for her family and herself to be personally attacked, getting pictures of her and her family together and putting that emoji over it, it's like, these students need to be held accountable, for one. Because at that point, I feel like that's just stalking. Because why got pictures of me and my family for? That's weird. And just, obviously, it's weird for them to just be doing that. Like, why do you feel the need to do that? Your privilege is showing. Obviously, we see you have privilege. We see you know you have privilege. We see that you know you can make somebody feel a type of way, but does that give you power? Like, you're not going to be in that school forever. Why do you feel the need to make such a lasting impact on somebody when in 5 years it's going to be not even on their mind, the kids' minds who did that to her? It's just like mind-boggling. Like, I can't wrap my mind around why somebody would even do that to somebody else.
Yeah, and go ahead, Melissa.
I was gonna say, I like what Jada said, how they made her the sole person who was going to be in there to represent diversity. They let her be the only person in there. They hired the one Black person so she would crumble under the pressure, because this can't be the first time that these kids have done something. They know what's wrong with their kids. They put her in an unsafe environment, unsafe physically and unsafe mentally. They put her alone in this environment so she would have no one to go to, no one to turn to, so she would crumble under the pressure and then leave, so they could say, oh, well, we did have a Black VP or whoever, we did have Black staff at this school, but they left. So it looks good on them, so they can say that they had some sort of diversity, when really you put her in here and are treating her extremely badly by putting her in an unsafe environment.
And there's no accountability, because, like I said, the principal was at the press conference. He refused to come and answer questions. He didn't have to. So, first of all, my heart goes out to Dr. Verscher, because I know that, over the years, racial targeting has a specific effect on Black votes, right? especially folks who are just thinking that they're doing the right thing, they're doing their job, and then to be targeted in this way because of a dress code, which I know that Black girls are disproportionately impacted by dress codes. So I don't know what everybody's up in a ruckus about. But just the fact that she even has to remove herself from such a toxic environment, I'm just saying she's going to need restitution for that. So Sac City should get ready to pay her. That's what I feel. Since you couldn't control your staff, your inept principal, these badass kids, I said it, since you couldn't control them, then you should have to pay for it. And I don't think that any outside monitor, independent monitor, or whoever who hasn't been privy to everything going on can come in like a white knight on a horse and save everybody. Like, I don't believe that. But that's just my 2 cents. And it's this is pervasive. It's not just at Sac City Unified School District. It's happening at Elk Grove Unified. I got 2 complaints here from teachers, even though I do K through 12 students. I got 2 complaints from teachers with the same experience, although they are not administrators, because most of the administrators from Elk Grove have bounced out. The ones that are behind, that are left behind, they're left behind for a reason. I'll just say that. And so, we are almost out of time. We have about 4 minutes left. I want to thank y'all for just being your incredibly beautiful Black selves. You guys are amazing to me. But I have one more story. We'll talk about it and then we'll head on out. Check this out.
My name is Travis Wilson, and I'm going to go step down on the court at sometime in the first quarter. I'm going to shoot some hoops, try to win some money for BYLP. I'm feeling electric. I'm here. It's Golden One Center. I just have to go down, hit a couple baskets, win some money. It's going to go to a good cause for some good people. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling lucky, feeling like tonight's the night.
So in case y'all didn't know, we are a whole mood. Shout out to Cousin Trav for hitting those shots and getting us $10,000 to go in our coffers so that we can support the students with some directed resources. So we definitely want to send a shout out to Cousin Trav. We want to thank Golden One and the Golden One Center and the Sacramento Kings for giving us the opportunity to roll through in our whole mood. Show them, Jada. Roll through in our whole mood hoodies that were designed by Cocky Clothing, Mr. Kwame. And we're just grateful. We're absolutely grateful that we had a blast, and we're just grateful for the opportunity. So shout out to Golden One and the Sacramento Kings and Cousin Trav for just making our night and giving us something to come home and brag about, because we are indeed a whole mood. And I know that some folks keep asking us about those designs, and I'm going to see if we can work with Mr. Kwame and see if we can get some in office so that we can send those out to y'all, or he can send them out to y'all, however we do it. But we are just incredibly, just in awe of the favor, because favor ain't fair. So with that, y'all, we got a couple of minutes. I just want to know, does anybody have see, I was about to go somewhere and I didn't need to. So Black History Month is coming up. Black History Month is coming up. We're going to celebrate the whole month long with BVBOE. We're going to make sure that we start pushing out some content, get our folks involved. We want to make sure that students who want to guest co-host on our podcast that month, we can invite them in and embrace them and hear some more opinions on things that are going on in our communities. If you have any things that you want us to have, you can email us at bvboe@bylp.org. If you have any type of content or topics you want to put forth, we want to make sure that we vet those and get ready to present those. So, man, it's gonna be lit. Black History Month with BVBOE right here on Facebook and YouTube. So with that, if nobody else has anything, we're gonna hit y'all with the wave. We're
I
gonna
have
see.
something.
Oh, you
I have
do. I'm
something to
sorry,
add.
girl. You gotta just jump in there. Come on. What you doing?
Sorry. Okay. So I think I will be working with Elk Grove Unified School District to be on the social justice project. So if anybody like making a change in schools for Black students, if anybody wants to give me any like suggestions on what they would like to see different, yes, Miss Lorraine, you can also please give me suggestions because I need you. Just let Miss Lorraine know. She'll let me know, please. And then because I'll be working. I think I'll be coming back and working with them to reimagine schools for Black students in Elk Grove Unified School District.
Tell them they could start with some directed resources. They got an achievement gap problem. They need to put some money into that. They got a racism problem. They got a disproportionate discipline problem. It's going to take some of them COVID funds to start to address that, and we need directed resources. They know what it is. If they forget, tell them to go and look at the different board meetings that we've been out, and we've absolutely laid it out for them.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll work with you. Listen. They don't want you to work with me, but I'll work with you.
I know.
Melissa, you starting a whole BSU where you are, like you said you would. We love it. Love to see it. Let's see. Jada did an audition yesterday. She's gonna be part of what? What did you make it? What you
I
make?
made it on SAC Dance Academy, y'all. At SAC Dance Lab downtown, Sacramento. Hey, I made
First
it.
of all, that's not downtown. That's over by
Yes, it
Cal
is.
Expo.
Oh, guys, don't
Okay.
tell me. Look it up. Look it up. Don't
Yeah. And then let's see who else. Dee Dee is out today because she's taking her driving test. Shout out to Dee Dee, who's gonna get her license and stop asking her mama for rides. And then Jada passed her permit test. Hallelujah! And we're gonna put her on the road too, so I can stop carting her around. Let's see who else. And what happened? Pick you up? That's what you said.
I'll drive down to LA and be like, Millie, I'm at your door.
Yeah, she's not doing that. We're gonna fly. But anyway, we're gonna hit y'all with the wave. We're gonna see you next week right here on Facebook and YouTube. We are Black versus the Board of Education. Hit them with the wave, y'all. We'll see you later.